Good morning and welcome to A Soft Place to Land. As you know, I am Hope, and I'm so grateful that you have taken the time out of your busy schedule to join us today for this conversation. It's going to be awesome. Listen, if you are new here, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Get down in those comment sections. Let me know what's going on with you. How do you feel about the conversation? We have a wonderful, wonderful guest that's going to tell her story today. I want everyone to remember to be kind in the comment section. Please be kind, be gentle. The topics that we discuss are serious topics, they're real topics. These are real people connected to the topics. Hey, listen, everybody is doing celebrity gossip. Everybody is reviewing shows. But how many times do we click around YouTube and social media and we hear someone telling their real story? This is what this channel is about. A soft place to land is just that. It's a soft place to land in our minds. There are times when people take the title of this channel, the name of the channel, literally. I want you to take it literally. It is figurative. Because listen, if our minds are healed and healthy, then our physical body is healed and healthy. But we want to understand and tell our stories on how we got there. How did we get to wholeness? How did we get to healthiness? Or if you are in a situation where you're just not there yet, that's okay. That's okay. You're going to be able to gain strength from someone else's story. We're going to wait a few more minutes and let a few more people in the room. Go ahead and comment. So let me tell you about where I have been. As many of you know that I am a student. Yeah, I'm a stone's throw away from 60 and I am in college. And it feels awesome. I graduated on Saturday from the first leg of my degree. I had friends that came and supported me, and it was such a wonderful feeling to know that I had people who are flying low under me. Listen, another piece of my story, I'm a recovering person. So it was special to me, and I took the time to take it all in. And just soak it in. I went from the crack house to the church house to the college house to a major university. And I walked across the stage and I got some pigskin, y'all. I got some pigskin. It feels so good. It feels so, so good. I'm happy, 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 happy. I'm telling you, I'm as happy as a fat baby with a bottle of milk. I am enjoying this journey of my education. I'm not looking to get the degree to get a job. This is just for me. It's just for me, y'all. It's just for me, and it feels good. Hey, listen, I see that our guest has arrived. What I'm going to do is allow her to join the conversation. Hold on one second. Good morning, Lezette. How are you today?
Good morning. I am well. I am
Great.
yourself.
Great. I'm doing good. I am doing good. Let me first say thank you for joining us here at A Soft Place to Land. We are anticipating hearing your story and hearing your journey. I want you to listen. This is kitchen table talk. I want you to ignore the comments. When people get in the comments, if someone says something crazy, ignore it. Don't even look at the comments. If you're able to on your device, if you have to, Go ahead and shut the comments off so that you can stay focused on telling your story. Okay? Listen, I need to turn my camera off for 1 second because we're getting the glare of my glasses and I need to change some settings. Go ahead and greet the audience while you do that.
Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor and a blessing to be able to share from where you come from, what you're going, and where you're leading, and where God is going to lead you to. So we pray that as you hear the story, hear the journey, that someone is set free to know that they are still who they are. And God is truly a miracle worker. He is truly a miracle worker because when you look in the mirror, guess what's looking back at you? A miracle. So we thank God for each and every one of you all taking out your busy schedule and your time for logging in. And we just say thank you. We appreciate you. Sit back, relax, and let's just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Yes, just let's enjoy the journey. God bless you. God bless. God bless. Well, as we're waiting for our host to come back on, we're just once again just thanking God for another day of life. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. So I am grateful that He's given us another opportunity, another chance to come together. We as women, we as co-laborers, we're not in competition, but we are in unity. Yes.
Okay, we're back. Still
Yes.
have a little bit of a glare, but that's okay. We're going to move forward. So, Lizette, I want you to, I want us to have this conversation. We're going to walk backwards into your story. Tell me, who is Lizette Ward?
Wow. I am a 51-year-old single female, no children. Came from a small town, Bogalusa, Louisiana. Grew up, raised, moved to the city, which is New Orleans. So came from that country girl to that city girl was trust me a really big transition for me because I'm that country girl. Love to be
Okay.
out. Able to do coming into the city life was definitely interesting. Raised by my grandparents. Of course, mother and father were in my life, but came and visit my mom during the weekends. Dad was always in Texas, so had my father come in and out. But through it all, that's my journey. That I was raised in Bogalusa, grew up, then became the city girl, then became the city girl. Went to college. Was able to purchase my home at 40. Went through
Okay.
some losses. Lost my grandparents, lost my mom, and I even lost my home at some point during the storm and different things that took place. So it's been a journey. Came through some health challenges. As some may know, just had surgery about a month ago. Uh,
Wow.
don't look
Wow.
like what I've been through. So
Okay.
we're just grateful to God for what He's done and what He's doing. And it's interesting because when you look in the mirror, you're looking at a miracle. That's all.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That's an awesome story. Bugaloosa. Many of us don't know, have never heard of Bugaloosa. Of course, I live in Southeast Louisiana. I've heard of the town, but I've never been there. Tell me about what life was like growing up in Bugaloosa.
Well, you know how they say it takes a village? Well,
Mm-hmm.
coming up, it was truly a village. We could walk down the street, the elderly people could be on the porch. You're going to speak, you're going to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. We were able to go out and play. due to health challenges with myself, I wasn't like the normal child where I could go out and just literally play because I was diagnosed with Turner syndrome. I had seizures and different things, but I did have a normal childhood. However, it's a small town, community wise, everybody tend to seem to get along at times. But of course, we have the bickering and back and forth and different things
Right.
of that nature. But to most of all, we actually did our first integrated prom in 1989, the year I graduated. We had
Okay.
separate proms until 89. That was exciting, a move of a new era to graduate being collective. It's no longer separate, but we're coming collectively to graduate, and to
When you say separate, I'm sorry. When you say separate, what do you mean?
where the whites and the blacks were still separated in that time.
Wow.
So
I
we
mean, as
actually
late as 89.
right. And we actually
Wow.
integrated the first prom for blacks and whites. Was our
Wow.
senior year, so it was interesting. But we all went to school together. We just
Right.
kept separate events, but we
Wow.
became unified, and that was interesting for us as a class. As coming out. It was interesting, just all around good nature, because it takes a village to raise children, and there
Absolutely.
was a
Absolutely.
respect level that we had for our elderly. There was a respect level. There was where we said yes ma'am, no ma'am. I guess today's children wouldn't even know what that sounds like. you know
Right.
they really
Right.
wouldn't even know what that sounds like, to say yes ma'am and no ma'am. But to come through Bugaloosa, most people think of it as, or they remember it as what some would say, a paper mill. It stinks. It has a smell. It has an odor. It's gotten a little better in the years, but there's still a smell, which that means it's money, because that was called the paper mill. So
Right.
my grandfather, my uncles, different ones came through that plant with money. So it was an interesting childhood as far as coming up in that small town.
See, it's that is so interesting. In 2022, we don't realize that as late as the late 80s, that segregation was still alive and well. There may be people in our audience who are from up north or in different parts of the country or in different parts of the world that don't realize that. So to have someone tell their story that yeah they lived in segregation, and they're not old and wrinkled, you know. Um, so you spoke about Turner syndrome. What is that?
Well, it's first of all, it's basically coarctation of the aorta, where the blood stops to flow. So that's where I have the height issue, where it stunts the
Height
growth.
issue. Height
Yeah,
issue. What do you
I'm
mean?
I'm I'm 4'7", so most people would say I'm very short. Not considered a
Okay.
midget, but I am very short. So I'm 4'7", so it actually stunts the growth. It has the neck, and it does deal with the body, where it allows the infertility, where you may be able to produce children, you may not be able to produce. So it just depends. But it's normally you don't live after 13.
Wow.
It's a disease. It's a disease that normally you live up until 13, and you usually pass within that time frame. And that is exactly
Wow.
what they told my mother, that if I lived to be 13, that I would actually they would do the open heart surgery. Well, I survived. I'm 51. Had the open heart surgery
Wow.
at 13. They had to go in, do the coarctation of the aorta, which means they brought two blood vessels together and allowed the heart to pump, the blood to pump flow freely to the heart. So that's what I came through at 13. Haven't
Wow.
had a seizure since I was 6 or 7. So to God be the glory. And every time I walk into my cardiologist or walk into an office, they look amazed. It's like, how old are you now? I'm like, I'm
Wow.
51.
Wow.
I'm going to be 52, So
Wow.
I
Wow.
truly have come through that battlefield. Yeah.
Truly a miracle. Truly, truly, truly a miracle. Growing up as so let me ask you before I ask that question, let me ask you this. Um, with your health challenge with Turner syndrome, does that affect your cognitive abilities? Does it affect the mind?
It does affect the mind because it keeps you in a settled state. So it puts you in a drawn back state where you always feel to some degree that you're less than because you don't consider yourself normal. And as a child, that's what I grew up as with I'm not normal. What people would say normal. I didn't grow the actual height. I look like the child, but I'm not. And it's like I get that with kids because kids see me and they're like, "Come on, let's go play," and I'm like, no, I'm kind of little too old to
Yeah,
play."
yeah,
But of
yeah,
course, I love the baby, so I do what is necessary to play
yeah.
with the kids. But it does have a mental it does play on your mental because it takes a lot out of you to overcome what you see, and people look at you with a different stigmatism because today at 51, when people see me, they immediately think I'm either going to be a pushover or they figure they can just say anything to me, tell me anything, and I'm really a humble person, but I have to admit, you can't push me too far. I
Okay,
really, I have to admit, when you
okay.
push me to my limit, I kind of like can go there.
Right,
So,
right. So you talked about um the height challenges and the cognizant, like thinking to yourself, I'm a little person, so I must be little inside.
mhm.
I must be less than inside. How did your family help with those feelings? Did they know that you were having that type of inner dialogue?
I'm a type of a private person, so some of my family members could kind of pick up and say, "Hey, you're bigger than that," or "You're greater than that," But family really was a great support to let me know that I really wasn't different. I just looked different. So I can honestly say they still made me feel like I am who I am. Because today I can tell you, I can take a 6 foot woman, don't play with me.
All right, all right,
I
all
might be
right.
small in stature, but I am a giant in God and in the kingdom and in who I am today. So it's like they played a vital role. Of course, I've had some family members that treated me like nothing. They don't respect, those kind of issues. But I had to remind myself that that's not them, it's the enemy using them because he wants to keep me in a box or he wants to keep me in that mental state to where I'm nothing or they make you feel that way. But I'm
Okay,
grateful that I'm an overcomer. God said, "Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world."
all right,
So
all right.
I've had those family members that do that to me till this day. you know,
Okay.
you, but through it all, you get through it.
So let me ask you this: Were there? Did your parents? Then let me ask you: Do you have siblings?
Do I have
Do
siblings?
you have siblings? Yes.
Yes, I have a sister by my mom, and I have 6 other sisters by my dad, and a brother by my dad. But it's just my sister and I on my mom's side. Well, from my mom.
Were are any of your other siblings are they affected by Turner syndrome?
No, my sister that's by my mom, that's 3 years younger than me, she actually read up on it. And she began to tell me some things about it because I didn't even, I'm going to say I was afraid.
Okay.
And I'm going to be truly honest. Mentally, I was like, okay, if I live, I live. If I don't, I don't, And it's like, I don't want to see the process of me dying. But
Right.
God said, it's okay to die because you
Right.
lived.
Right.
So at this point, I can say I'm okay with leaving because I've lived.
Okay.
One of the challenges that I did have to overcome was a legacy, because most people want to leave a legacy. They
Right.
want to build something for others. So that was a mental challenge for me to know I don't have a seed to leave something to,
That's a great segue. Let's go there.
you
Let's
know.
go there. Um, we're here to talk about infertility. And we want to give the backstory of your infertility. Talk to me. Because this is something that I am not familiar with. I'm the mom of 5 children. Um, so I'm super fertile. But I do have a family member who didn't have a child until nearly 50. And he talked about, and this was a male, this is a male. And he talked about, infertility in his marriage. Talk to me about what that does. Does Turner syndrome affect your fertility? And if so, how? And then I want to address how it has affected you mentally.
Okay. Well, first of all, yes, that has a lot to do with the body producing the egg and being able to fertilize from the male. So it does carry a lot of that. The being in the doctor's office, and when I first inquired about it, because hey, I'm this young girl now. I'm in my 20s. I done started dating, started doing things. I'm like, okay, Lord, let me see what's going on.
Right, right,
So I got in the doctor's office, went to my gynecologist, and I was like, she said, so have you thought about children? And I was like, yeah, my desire as a child was to always have a little girl. For some reason, I wanted a girl. Boys, fine, love boys, but I wanted
right,
that daughter. I wanted to be able to go get the hair done, the nails done.
right,
I am who I am, so I love to
right,
dress, do different
right,
things.
right,
So that was my desire. Well, sitting in the doctor's office, she said, well, let me tell you this. Let me break this to you. She said, it's a fair chance that you may not ever get pregnant. And I looked at her and I said, what? You know, I'm sorry, at that time I had a male doctor. I said, what? He was like, you may not ever be able to bear children. I was like, wow. So instantly, my heart dropped.
wow,
I looked at my mom, tears began to flow. But I said, I'm going to be okay. But mentally, I wasn't, because now I'm going through this challenge of I'm in my 20s. I'm looking at other women, other girls my age, either producing, having the ability to. So I went back to the doctor. Hey, me being who I am, I'm just not going to take that. I said, wait a minute,
right,
is there any way we can kind of work this thing out here? Well, he said, well, if for any reason you choose or you have a pregnancy, he said, I'm not going to say that you want to get pregnant. He said, however, what's going to happen is you won't be able to hold the baby.
wow,
He said, you can possibly get pregnant. He said, but you will be on total bed rest. I was like, oh, wow. To be on total bed rest for the whole 9 months is something to deal with.
right,
And mentally, as I began to get older, it played with me as my womanhood, because most people look down on women who are not able to bear.
right,
And sometimes it can make you as a woman feel less than you are. Not
correct,
that you're any less, but it will make you feel that I'm not who I am. And then people
correct,
lose respect for you, because the first thing they'll tell you is, you don't have no children.
right,
You don't know this. Just like, single women trying to tell a married woman anything, or something of that nature. So when you try to tell a person in reference to children, it's like, who are you to tell me? You don't have no child.
Right.
without knowing if you listen to some advice, because God can use anybody and
Right.
anything to get his message across. But women, I'm not going to just say, but women begin to look at you different because you didn't produce. Then when you get involved, the men, of course, every man that you get involved with, they don't know your story. But at the same time, some men will say, why you don't have children? That's not a question you ask a woman because you don't know what her story is.
So
You
let's
just
go
thank
there.
God that she don't have children.
Let's go there, Lizette. Let's go there. Relationships. You meet this fine man
Mhm.
and you decide he is the one. And I want to, like the children say, I want to go half on a baby for him with him.
Okay.
What is that conversation when you explain and he agrees, yes, let's go forward. I want to have a baby with you. What is that conversation? How do you have that conversation with him to explain to that man how did you do it? How did you explain I can't have children?
Well, the thing about it is, it was a very, very, very emotional segment through our relationship because what happened was I actually spoke with my doctor first,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Well, we can do infertility. Fertility, where we can go in and insert and try and impregnate the egg itself using his sperm." And so the doctor was like, "But I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be uncomfortable, it's gonna hurt inserting to get you impregnated." Well, at that point, I was like, me in pain? Nah, that ain't gonna work.
Right.
Then I began to literally begin to think, because I did meet that Mr. Charming. I did think this is the man I wanted to have a child with. This is my knight in shining armor that I was like, yes, let me do this. So that's why I talked to the doctor first. Well, after speaking with the doctor and all of that, it's like I shut down, because then God began to reveal to me and show me, is he really who you think he is? Is this who you really want to have a baby with? Is this who you really want to be connected to for not just 18 years, but for the rest of your life?
For a lifetime. For a
So,
life.
because baby just don't stop at 18.
That's right.
Baby always carry in your heart, because a
Right.
mother's love goes, and it even goes beyond the grave.
Right.
So it's like, when I really sat back and God beginning to minister to me, he was like, "Oh no, he's not worth the pain. He's not worth the pain." But
Okay.
I did eventually speak to him and advise him that, hey, may not ever be able. I didn't tell my full story, but I did say, hey, I may not be able to bear children.
How did he receive that?
Supportive, shocked, hugged, said, "Are you gonna be okay?" And I was like, yeah, through the tears, saying, yeah, I'm going to be okay. But to know, then you have people coming in your face that's throwing children in your face, like, what? What? It's like, oh, back up, But in the midst of it all, I've grown, I've matured, and I understand. God does everything for a reason,
For a reason.
because God did bless me with godchildren. So I'm a godmother. So I have nieces, I have nephews. So the love that I would have poured into my child, I can give to my family, my
Right.
godchildren, my sibling, that kind of thing.
Right.
Who's willing to receive? Because everybody can't receive.
100%. 100%. What was, talk to me about the moment. We're going to step back a moment, and you're having the conversation with your physician, and your physician says you're a 20 something woman and you're having these desires. You're seeing everybody else, you're seeing your friend girls have babies, and you're seeing the belly and everybody, the baby showers, and well, way back when, there was more modesty in pregnancy, and there was, the mommy and me stores and the maternity shops, and you're seeing these women in their beautiful regalia, and you have the conversation with the doctor, and he says, this may not be something that's going to happen for you. What did that do to you mentally and emotionally as a 20 something vibrant young woman?
It literally tore me down. It literally, mentally, emotionally, I really felt like, and I can be honest, nothing. I felt empty. I felt such a void. And it's like, how do you fight back from something that you know you'll never be? And that is someone calling you mom. That is someone calling you a mother, or celebrating Mother's Day, celebrating those special times that children give accolades to their mothers. I love the stories where children come back and tell their parents, thank you.
Right,
And I do that. And I even I had my dad laughing at one point. I was like, thank you for your seat. Mama probably thanks you. But yeah, he bust out laughing. My dad is a jokester, but he bust out laughing. But thank him for his seat. But
right.
it was a devastating process. You
How
know,
did you how did you process that, and did you have a support network?
no, I
You
didn't
know,
have a support network.
right,
I didn't because I battled it alone.
right,
I did battle it alone, which could be healthy and unhealthy
right,
because I didn't have an outlet or anyone that I talked to about it. I did, yeah, of course, my mom and some of my aunts were there as far as that is concerned, but I really didn't. I shut down. I really do. And I had to literally come out of that because I was that type of person when I went through things. I disappeared. You know how they say the enemy would take you into darkness and isolate you? I go into isolation. When I'm growing through any type of situation, I used to isolate. And that's what the enemy always wanted. Because at that point, guess what creeps in? Suicide.
right. And that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to
Yes.
go. You said you shut down.
Yep.
What did that look like for you? You just mentioned
A lot of
suicide.
dark nights, a lot of tears, a lot of hurt from within. Asking God why, or why did He allow these me to be who I am? But at the same sense, trying not to turn cold, trying not to be bitter in the midst. But I became bitter because I became angry. Because then when I look at child abuse, and you have people that are producing children who don't care, who could
Right,
care less, who can't provide. We all do the best that we can with what we have and what
right,
we show. But it's like, man, you have women, 3, 4, 5 children abusing, and you're like, I had love to give.
right,
I had love, not abuse, but love. So it was a lot of dark days. A lot of times I had to literally pull myself together and put the smile on to make it look like it's
the
okay.
plastic smile.
Yeah.
So were you spiritually connected then? Were you in the church? Um,
Not like I am now, and not where my
okay,
growth is today. So no, I had a foundation, but I was not there. And that's what made me, because at some point I would even stop going to church. When I was going through, I would actually stop going to church until I had a former pastor of mine said, okay, I haven't seen you. What's going on? And he took me in his office. He said, what's the matter? And I was like, I'm just going through. He said, no, 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 no. He said, that's not the time that you draw from church.
right,
That's the
right.
time I need you to come to church.
To
That's
come
when I
to.
need you to be around us, because at that point, I began to become suicidal. I really did. It's like I was trying to figure out ways how to end it all. And he was like, no, that's the time when you need to come. From that point forward, I began to come out of it. I did it slowly, But I started, when I was going through things, I started going back to church. I would come a little bit, or this, that, and the
Right.
other, and
Right.
finally got back into it where God said, this is your healing place. This is your resting place to heal from all of that, to know that you are enough. You're great. You are who I made you. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. So guess what? Walk with your head up, girl. You stick your chest out and say, I got this. That's what you do.
See, this is great content and great conversation. Um, I wanna roll back just slightly when you talked about the dark space, and you told us that Turner disease, the average person may not live past their 13th birthday. Here you are, a 20 something woman. You have exceeded expectation. You've made an A plus because you did what they said you couldn't do.
Hmm.
Now you want to push the envelope, and you want to have a baby, and you're told this may not happen for you. What was your conversation? Did you ever become angry with God?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Did you have the conversation with God? Because a lot of times we think, we're told, the old folks say, you can't question God. You know, you just have to believe and keep moving. But the God that I know says that I want to have that conversation. If you're angry, he already knows that you're angry. What was that dialogue like? And what was the span?
It was a year or so span, because I
Okay.
kept saying, God, why? Why won't you give me something to love me back? Because that's all you want to do is give love and be loved. So the conversation I had with God is, say, okay, God, you created me, you know me. So why did you create me in this manner? Why is it that I'm not able to produce? And his thing was, but you're still my daughter. He said, no matter what it looks like from the outer, you're still my daughter. He said, and I love you. So he was like, and then he brought me to the scripture, Psalms 51, 54, I'm sorry, where he says, sing unto the barren woman.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked at that, and he said, but you're still going to be a mother to many. So
Right.
because now I see the nephews, the nieces, I have the godchildren, I was like,
Right.
okay, so now I can reassure. But like we say, when I see a baby being put in a garbage bag, when I begin to see whaps on a child, or I begin to see a parent cussing a child, or spelling, whipping a child to me for no reason. See, I came up in a household, I didn't have to catch a lot of whippings. Believe it or not, I wasn't a bad child. But
Well,
I
that's not my story. So
wasn't nah, let me tell you, my mother would piss and chew at us every now and then. But I always had an open dialogue with my grandmother. I always kept an open dialogue with my mom. So a lot of my emotions, some of that they knew, and like I say, because I'm a private person to this day, a lot of things they didn't know that I suffered within, and that is that mental state. Being able to deal with it, because how can you go tell your mother you're feeling this way when she's produced two children? How do you tell your grandmother that you're feeling this way when she produced 13?
wow.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you tell these women what you're feeling when they've got children?
And that's what this conversation is about. Like I said, I'm the mom of five.
Right.
Um, I don't know what it feels like not to be able to to hear mommy this, mommy that. Sometimes I want to say, listen, I changed my name and I'm not telling you what it is, which is what my mama told us. Um, but the closest that I could get is, I'm not afraid to share my story, and I've shared it a million times that I'm a recovering person. And there was a period of time during my addiction that I didn't have custody of my children. And literally, the cradle of my arm would ache to hold my children, to hug my children. That's
Mm.
the only and that's the only way that I could understand it. You know what that feels like to be infertile. That's got to be a pain and an ache that is so deep within that it's indescribable. So you've moved in out of your 20s. You've accepted that you may never, because there are no impossibilities in God,
Right.
right? But you may never have a child. You've moved past that. You're in your 30s, your early 40s. How did you transition? What was that transition like for you?
Uh, it
Past the
was it,
past the
it
church, past the church. I'm talking internal dialogue. What was
right.
that for Lizette?
Uh, Being able to accept, come to realization, because you have to be real with yourself
Right,
first and foremost. So it had to be a process that I had to process within me. Nobody else couldn't do it. Lizette had to do it. And that is to understand this is where I am, this is where I'm going to be, and this is where I have to move forward, because I can't stay stuck in this space. Because if
right,
I stay stuck here, then I'll never see what God has in store for me. I would have never got the God kids. I would have never, the nieces and the nephews may not have ever been born. So I had to get beyond where I was at that moment and begin to say the love that I have inside, I can truly spread it abroad. You know,
absolutely.
me in my 40s, coming in my mid 40s, I began to look and talk to the doctor about adoption. I
Okay,
did. I said, "What about?" But then at that point, I'm older. I'm in my 40s, getting closer to this 50 mark, and I said, "Well, I don't want to do it alone. I would rather have a helpmate to help and steer the child." So it's like, do I really want to be a single parent and raise a child? Or would I prefer to have this conversation with a man that God is saving me for him and him for me, and we decide that let's adopt? So at that point, I said, okay, that's a conversation that I'll have in my near future. And I came out of it because I realized reality is what it was. And I could not sugarcoat it. See, some people in the day will tell you, oh, it's good, just keep hope. Da, da, da. No, 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 no. When you know reality, you have to face reality as a whole. And I've had to do that in many instances where it's like relationships you wanted, things you wanted, heartbreaks. It's like, no, let's accept this for what it is, and we
right.
have to move forward. You have to heal from it. You got to heal from it, but then you can get through it.
So are we in a romantic relationship today? Are there any prospects, or are we single?
No, we're definitely still single. Uh,
Okay.
I am asking from the relationships that I've been in, I've asked God not to allow that to suffer or stomp where I know He's going to bring me. Because
Right.
when you've been rejected, picked over,
Wow. Mm-hmm.
chosen over, picked over, rejected, not good enough. I even had a gentleman to tell me, "You're everything I desire in a woman, but your statue, you're too short. I prefer a taller woman." And I looked at him and I told him, I said, "Thank you for being honest." But that tore my self esteem down, because
Wow.
how many men that I believe that truly said they love me, but felt the same way.
Felt the
And maybe
same
that's
way.
why I have. But at the same token, I went to my pastor at the time, and he was like, "He crazy. No, you don't do this. He's the
Right.
stupid one. He's the
Right.
crazy one." But
Right.
to have a man, and I was grateful. I didn't get angry. I didn't get upset. I was crushed, because for a man to literally tell you that, how many
Right.
men saw that in me, but because I didn't fit the description. Hello.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
I didn't have the height that they wanted for a wife. I didn't have the height they wanted to be on their arm. How many did that? So I had to tell him, "Thank you for being honest." I couldn't be
Right.
mad,
Right.
but at the same token, I said, "Well, God, that wasn't for me."
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
at this point, going through all of the other things, it's like now I'm just focusing. God, just do the inner me. Let all of those things and those issues that I've conquered, let them be in my past, so that it does not hinder my future. Because I do believe that there's somebody out there for me. We just
Absolutely.
haven't connected yet.
Absolutely.
We just
Absolutely.
haven't connected yet. But
Absolutely.
even if that is the case, I'm just trying to heal those wounds, that being rejected, you being the trophy woman, of course you look good with the family, you the one brought, and then here it comes, I'm engaged to another woman. So
Wow.
that those things happen, and they were
Wow.
my reality. So mentally it's like, whoo, here we go with another blow, because you're getting kicked over again. But I thank God for not being picked, because He saved me from saving myself. So I'm gonna put it
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
He saved me
And
from
and
saving
it's
myself.
it is going to happen because I've heard it said God don't make no junk. So it is going to happen, if it doesn't happen, it's okay.
That's where I am today. I'm at this point that if a man never chooses me, then I'm okay with me.
There you
If
go.
I never become a bride, my desire is to be a wife. My desire is to be able to say, "Honey, I'm home. What you want
Right.
for dinner?" you know. Then it's those days where, you want to go to the park, you want to do stuff, and you're by yourself. So God said, you have to, that's where I am today, learning to love me. Oh my. Learning to love me.
It you know Lizette, we have been have known one another for a few years now. And it's not until you stand up that I see your stature. You are, in the natural, you are 4 foot something. But that's not who I see. That's not who I see. You are so huge. And we let those tears fall. We shed them with you. We shed them with you. This is not who I see. So for someone to say, you've got everything, but they haven't seen you. They haven't seen you. Intimacy simply is it's broken down into me.
hmm
See,
hmm
into me, because I had those inner dialogues. I'm not a super tall woman. I'm 2 seconds taller than you, literally 2 seconds. Um, but my inner dialogue was, you're too dark. That's the issue. You're too dark. Your hair is too thin. Well, now you don't have any hair. Um, but all of those things, what happened is the supreme being that I choose to call God taught me that I am enough. I am more than enough
Yeah.
because He made me this way. When my dad used to say, I'm short, round, and close to the ground. but I'm enough. I am enough. I have learned and I have coined the phrase I am a designer's original.
Hmm.
I am created. There is no one when God created me, he simply broke the mold. And I guess my husband would say, thank God that he did that. Because we can't take another you on this earth. So it's we love you for who you are, and you are a giant. You are a giant inside. I don't see a small woman. I want to thank you for sharing your story with us today, allowing us to shed tears with you, because I know that those tears are no longer tears of pain,
Mm-mm.
they're tears of victory. There is a woman out there whose story is juxtaposed with yours. It's the same story, but she's been afraid to tell it. And you were courageous to let us know, this is my story. This is who I am. This is what I've lived. I look in the mirror and I see a miracle, because society said that I wouldn't be here past age 13.
Hmm.
And I'm here to see a few gray hairs.
Gotta cover them up.
Gotta cover them up. I was going there, choose to cover them up. I shaved them off. Um, but it is an honor and a pleasure to hear your story, to explain to me what it's like to want to hear, Mommy, is there any cereal? To know, like I said, I have a family member and he told me that he and his wife could not conceive, and he would cry at night privately. She didn't know, but he would cry. And you hear that and you say, a man crying because he don't have a baby?
No.
But we don't realize how huge that is, to be able to look at someone else and see your face. So to tell your story, it's to hear your story, Lizette, it is an honor. It has been a privilege to have the conversation with you. Hey, what can we get behind? How can we support you? What's going on with you? What are you promoting?
Well, I am a paparazzi consultant. I am with
What's
that.
paparazzi?
It's a jewelry. It's jewelry. It's
Okay.
$5 jewelry. That we're able to that I sell. It's Zet's Bling Boutique.com that you can go on there and shop. Of
Okay.
course, you can follow me on Facebook, Lizette Danielle Ward on Facebook. I am on Instagram as Lizette70 and on Twitter as well. So, and I do, I have Cash App, Zelle, all of those things. But yeah, so you can definitely do those. Yeah.
Okay, we definitely. Do you happen to have any of your paparazzi that you can show off? Because I'm a girl that I like a nice earring. I like a nice, you know,
Necklace.
I
I
like
I
nice
would
piece of
actually
bling.
have to pull some out. I didn't know,
Okay,
but I do.
okay,
I'll possibly be doing a show sometime next week. So I'll look forward to it. But you can definitely go on my website and do it. I can pull something out real quick if you would like. But
go ahead.
uh,
Absolutely, we want to see what you got. We want you to show off what you're doing.
yes, ma'am.
And while Lizette is getting a few things, I want to thank those who are in the chat. Um, Thank you for being here to support her, through telling her story. This is not easy. It is not easy to tell your reality. It's not easy. But I'm so glad that she did. I'm glad that you are here to just gird her up, and hold the Kleenex while she cried and cried with her. All right, Lizette is back. What you got for us, girl?
Well, I actually have some, of course, some pearls.
Oh, I love a
I
good
love the
pearl.
pearls,
Love a good pearl.
but this one is a bracelet. It's like a bracelet.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
It's $5 plus your tax, and I do ship. So,
That's beautiful.
yes, my I appreciate you and I thank God for you. And what I would leave with any woman is to know that you're worth it all. No matter what your circumstance, no matter what you're growing through in this season, you're worth it. Um, it doesn't matter whether you have children, you don't have children. But I do tell the woman that is seeking God for a child, keep praying, keep believing, and know that there is nothing impossible for God. So we definitely
There
want
we
to
go. There we
uh,
go.
let them know that. And on this one, it's a like a little bracelet.
Oh, okay, like charms.
Yes,
Oh, that's beautiful. That
it's
is absolutely
yes,
beautiful.
really nice, and it has the ring to go with
Okay.
it. I have a bracelet to go with it.
And these pieces are all $5 each.
$5 each. And I
Okay.
my cash app is $ penny 7030. My Zelle is my phone number, but you can either do Zed's Bling Boutique, but that's the bracelet. So you can tell
Okay.
it's really, really nice. Uh,
Those are those are beautiful, beautiful pieces,
so
Lizette. And we want to thank you for sharing those things with us. I will definitely be reaching out because I'm a jewelry girl. I like a nice piece of bling. I like a bling on a budget,
yes,
because we believe in crawling before you ball over on
right.
this side. Thanks to giving give
But
this is something Buffy Purcell says. She is a financial diva and she talks about crawling before we ball and blinging on a budget, balling on a budget. So we love that and we will
the
definitely.
earrings,
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I'm an earring girl. I'm an earring girl.
see,
Oh yeah. That's beautiful. I'm definitely going to be, you know, getting some pieces. I'm
yeah.
definitely going to be getting some pieces.
Yeah, so if people want to, sew or just give to the it's $ penny 7030. But
Hey
just
Lizette,
want to sew.
why don't you do us a favor? Go ahead and put in the chat your your website and your Cash App. And what we'll do is go ahead and pin it. Because people are definitely asking for your Cash App.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
My God.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my
See,
God.
people believe in supporting. People believe in supporting. And I want to thank everyone. Listen, what I'd like everyone who's in the room and in the chat, if you could do me a favor, can you put some yellow hearts for Lizette? Let her know that you're here and that you're here to support her. Let's see. We lost your camera, Lizette. Are you still with us? We lost you for a moment. Let's see. I'm not sure what happened. We lost Lizette's camera. Something may have happened. Uh, Hold on. Let's see. We lost her, and that's okay. Let's see. That looks like she's back with us. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, we
Sorry, I
lost you
don't know
for.
what happened.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure.
I thank you for your time. I thank you for actually giving me the honor, because
My
these are some
pleasure.
things that I never share with any individual. I know there's some people on Facebook, some people in my family, like, Lord Jesus, she felt this way. Or
Yes.
even, so I thank God that today and the woman that I am today is due to the fact of my grandmother, my mom, my legacy, that I'm able to still stand. I thank God for every trial and tribulation that I've come through. And once again, I tell the barren woman, keep your head up, keep going forth, and know that God is able. And for that mother who seems like there is no way out, hold on. Change is coming and help is on the way. So I thank God for it.
That is an awesome word of encouragement. It has absolutely been our pleasure. You have educated me. Um, there are things that I didn't know. I had never even heard of Turner syndrome. I'd never heard of that before. So we thank you for educating us. We thank you for educating us on infertility and what that feels like on the inside as a woman. Because a lot of times, you know, the first thing you hear is when are you getting married? When are you going to have a baby? Is something wrong with you? Yeah, you don't
Uh,
understand.
yes.
So helping us to get a better understanding. We don't have the full understanding because only God above fully understands, but giving us just a peek into what it has been a day in your life. We thank you for that.
God bless.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you.
And um, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and end it now. I'm going to drop you down and just have a short conversation with the audience. Audience, thank you. Again, put some yellow hearts in the chat to let Lezette know that you are here, you are supporting her, and that you were privileged to hear her story. Thanks again, Lizette, and
God
you have
bless.
a great rest of your day.
You have an awesome day.
Bye bye for
God bless.
now.
Thanks for all you all who gonna sow. Thank you, thank you, thank you in advance.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Wow, what a great conversation. What a great conversation. There's so much meat there. There is absolutely so much meat. When we have children, we don't realize when we have children that are born with any type of deficiency, we don't know what they're going to experience in life and the challenges that they may endure, silently suffering. You know, this was huge. This was huge. This was a great conversation. I want to thank you for those who are dropping those hearts in the comments. Thank you so much for just leaving Lizette words of encouragement. Hey, go ahead by and stop by her website. I have put it in the chat. Stop by her website, support her. We put her cash app there. Send her support her in some kind of way, any kind of way, just to let her know you were here, you love her, and you're here to support her. Infertility to that woman or that man who is dealing with this. We are here. We love you. We hear you. We support you. We send you virtual hugs. We want to be your soft place to land. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. Hey, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell somebody about us. Help grow this community that more people will be able to have a soft place to land. We love you dearly and look forward to being with you again. Bye bye for now.